Welcome to another edition of Bison Break. I'm your host, Brendan Whitted. Very, very excited to be here with USA Today's track and field and NFL journalist, Tyler Dragon. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me on. It's great to be on with a fellow Bison. I always love talking HU and, giving back to Howard any way I can. So it's great to talk to another fellow Howard student. I've been there before as a Howard alum. So I hope things are going well with you on campus. And, congratulations to I know Howard, they just had the move-in day. So congratulations to all the incoming freshmen and good luck in their Howard career as well.
Yeah, the moving day took me back. I was like, wow, that was quite some time ago. It's a good way to age myself, absolutely. But I kind of wanted to get started a little bit before we get into like your many accomplishments and stuff like that. This is Bison Break. We like to get a chance to know you a little bit past just the sport. So just a couple of questions for you. Now, if I was to put you on the spot, I'm not going to ask you to do it, but if I were to put you on the spot, rapping or singing any song, word for word, you got to get it 100% perfect. What song are you going with?
Oh, that is so hard. I mean, I love music. I love R&B. I love rap. Tupac is my favorite rapper. So anything Tupac, I'll, rap word for word. Not a lot of people know this though, but I have a soft spot for R&B, Drew Hill and Tevin Campbell. So can we talk? If that song comes on, I'm gonna sing it word for word. I mean, there's a lot of songs that I love that I can sing word for word. I mean, rap, even Ludacris, Ja Rule back in the day. I'm kind of dating myself, but yeah, I'm a music buff. So
I like that. That's dope. I would not pick Drew Hill. Now you did give me now. I was like, all right. I see. Okay, all right. Next question. Now you traveled a lot for work. You covered the NFL. What's the best NFL food city? Like, what's the best food situation for any NFL city you've been in?
Best NFL food city. I have to say Atlanta. I love me some soul food. Atlanta has some great soul food down there. I remember going to the press box and, they had everything from collard greens to fried chicken to cornbread. So it was great. And Mercedes-Benz is right around the corner from my favorite soul food spot in Atlanta, Busy Bees. So I have to give it to Atlanta. But, as far as stadium food, when I'm in the press box, I have to give it to Levi Stadium, where the San Francisco 49ers play. And then probably Mercedes-Benz. And then I'll say SoFi Stadium and then AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play.
Nice. I've been to a few press boxes. Never got the fried chicken collard greens. I haven't. It's mostly just sandwiches whenever I've been there. So
they don't always have it at Mercedes-Benz, but the time I was there, they had it. So that was my favorite press box meal of all time. But pound for pound, I'm talking about every single week, I probably have to give it to Levi Stadium.
Nice. Okay. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your journey to Howard because this was a little bit different. What made you make the change? Originally you went to UCLA, correct? Mm-hmm. And then you made the change to Howard. What prompted that change?
Well, I was a student athlete and I was just a track and field athlete at UCLA, and he had an itch to play football. So I transferred to Howard to play two sports, and also I wanted to, study broadcast journalism. UCLA didn't have a broadcast journalism school. They just had a school of communications. So it was a combination of those two things. But, I wouldn't change it for the world. UCLA going there was definitely a dream come true, being on their track team with, a lot of Olympians and professional athletes. And then Howard was a dream come true as well. The best HBCU on the planet. Definitely the most recognizable, most distinguished, and most prestigious. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
What would you say were the biggest differences between the universities? Because you're you're coast to coast at that point. You're obviously in Cali, and then to DC. What were kind of the biggest changes biggest differences that you noticed?
That's a great question. I'll say it was a culture shock because coming from California and being born and raised in California, I didn't know that too many HBCUs existed at the time. And then number two, I had never seen that many Black people in one place before until I went to Howard. So it was definitely a culture shock, and just, being in the yard, so many sororities and fraternities, and just being at, the Mecca, in that environment where there's so many educated African Americans, striving to graduate and striving to, better themselves. It was just, a experience that is almost hard to describe. I mean, I went to UCLA, and then there was actually a lawsuit because there was only a 3% Black people in my freshman class. Wow. So that was, eye-opening. And I forget the numbers, but almost half of that 3% were athletes.
Wow.
So a lot of us went there, and we felt like, we were only there because we were athletes. And if we would have just been, regular students, maybe we wouldn't have got accepted. So at Howard, it was just totally different. When the campus is predominantly, Black. So it was definitely a great experience to be amongst like-minded people and people that look like me.
Ooh, 3% to Howard is that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's pretty jarring. Well, you talked about making the switch to broadcast journalism. Did you always know that you wanted to cover sports? Was that always something that that drove you?
Well, I knew when my athletic career was going to be over, I wanted to transition to sports media. So it was a kind of a seamless transition. So to answer your question, yes, I always knew. I didn't know when my athletic career was going to end. Part of me wanted to be some big time professional athlete and then retire close to my 40s and then do the broadcast journalism thing. It didn't work out quite that way, but I'm happy no matter what, because I'm doing something I love to do, and I get paid to talk about sports for a living. I've been blessed to travel not only around the country but the world, and covering the Tokyo Olympics. So it's definitely been a blessing.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. What would you say is maybe the highlight so far of your professional career?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say probably covering the Tokyo Olympics was a highlight, maybe the best highlight, and then also covering multiple Super Bowls. I mean, you talk about, the pinnacle of sports. Yeah. And I've been blessed and fortunate enough to cover, probably the biggest sporting event in the world in the Olympics, and then the biggest sporting event in the United States, which is probably the Super Bowl. So, I mean, not a lot of journalists can say that, and I'm fortunate enough to say that I've covered both of them.
Do you have a favorite in terms of coverage between track and field or football, or even when you were participating in both?
Well, track and field has always been, I won't say my first love, but like my child, because I grew up with track, and it's always been something that's been near and dear, close to my heart, because I started at such a young age. So I always have a soft spot for track and field. So I would say covering track and field is definitely my favorite, but I love covering football as well. I have family playing football, and football is definitely that's the moneymaker, and that's America's number one sport. So it's definitely a blessing to cover football as well.
Okay, so this next one was kind of a two-part question, because I see guys always talk, because a lot of football players ran track, and you mentioned making the transition from track to football. Who do you think would be the best track and field athlete that would be a really good football player?
Man, that's tough. Best track and field athlete that can be currently, I would say probably Ryan Krauser. He's a shot putter, the best shot putter, the world record holder. So he's the best shot putter of all time currently. And not a lot of people know this, but shot putters are like the world's strongest athletes. And they're actually agile in that confined space, which is a shot put ring. So, if you think NFL players are strong, they have nothing on shot putters. Shot putters I've seen bench 600, 700 pounds, squat 1,000 pounds. So if you put like a guy like Ryan Krauser, who's like 6'5", 6'6", at left tackle, he would be a beast if you with the training and proper technique. So I would say, him. Back in the day, a little bit, probably Usain Bolt. If he learned how to catch and route run a little bit, you just go on the go route, run deep, and the quarterback just throw as far as you can. I mean, Usain Bolt, the fastest human being ever. You put that 9.58 speed on a football field. I mean, that's I think Tyreek Hill is fast. Usain Bolt is on a whole different type of stratosphere. So I would say those two for sure.
I love that. I've never thought about shot putters. When I was thinking about a question, I was thinking you would say somebody like Usain Bolt or a runner or sprinter but like I never even considered shot putters to be kind of in that realm. That's really, really dope. I love this insight. This is fantastic. Well, I mean, I got to ask you on the other side too. Who do you think from the football side would make a good track and field athlete then?
That's a good question because there have been a lot of football players that participated in track in college or in high school. Tyreek Hill comes to mind. Tyreek Hill was on the cusp of being a world-class track and field athlete, so he definitely comes to mind. Man, as far as speed, I think John Ross, like straight line speed, would be a good track and field athlete. Deshaun Jackson, I actually ran track with him when he went to Long Beach Poly. He was on the relay team. He was a good track and field athlete. So those two, and there have been a couple, offensive linemen and defensive linemen who were okay shot putters in college or in high school. So there are a few ex track and field athletes in the NFL today.
What did you run? What was your event in track?
I was a shot put and discus thrower, so I was not a runner. I was not that fast, unfortunately. I had about 4.5 40 speed, but that's not nowhere near the 4.3s, 4.2s people are running now. So
4.5 is pretty fast, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. As an actual slow person myself, I would have killed for 4.5 speed. If I were to give you 30 seconds or a minute just to kind of explain it and speak directly to alumni about the importance of giving, what would you say to them?
The importance of, it's always good to give back. Now, when you lift, I've always heard lift, and while you lift, climb. I mean, not while you climb, lift. I said that backwards. And that's just an expression where, you didn't get there on your own.
Right.
And, I know I didn't go to Howard on my own. I had help from family. I had help from friends and coaches. I mean, I was there on an athletic scholarship. So everybody had, a hand in helping me get to UCLA and getting to Howard. So, even as a journalist for USA Today, I didn't get here alone. And so it would be selfish of me and selfish of anybody in my position to not give back, because there have been so many people who have given back to me when they reached a certain level. So that goes to giving back to Howard University and fellow students who had needed advice or somebody to mentor them, or just financial aid, giving back to School of C. Or, I was a political science major. So I was in the Frederick Douglass building, giving back to the political science or whatever it may be. It's always important to, give back as you climb, lift.
Very well said. bisonexpress.org/give. You can go to the website and give there. And then I want to shout out your social media handle where we can follow you and read up on the stuff you're doing for USA Today at the Tyler Dragon, TheTylerDragon. Really good pieces about Black quarterbacks recently. So I've enjoyed reading you for a while, and it's great to actually have a chance to sit down and speak with you. Thank you so much for making time, and we'll continue to follow you over there.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. HU.